Hey guys, Tyler here, leader of the Reclamation Party. We're going to talk quickly this morning. I'm going to sound a little strange. I'm sick, by the way, so bear with me on that. But we're going to talk quickly about the Reclamation Party's plans to make a deal for military equipment with South Korea. So we already have I believe it's a memorandum of understanding or something along those lines, that will allow that to move forward. Again, I've said before, the Liberal government was eyeing the K9 mobile artillery unit. However, they obviously hadn't made a purchase or anything further really on it besides signing an understanding. So what we're looking to do is to move forward with that past the point it's at now, and we're looking for about 200 K2 Black Panther tanks and about 300 K9 Thunder mobile artillery, and those are upgraded versions. These will not be the same as the PLs, which is the Poland editions, or Poland variants. Those have been designed again by the Poles with the South Koreans for Poland. So basically, we're looking at work for Canadians for years, because the artillery in particular, the 300 units have to be built. Now, some of them will come from South Korea, as will some of the tanks. That's always the deal. That's how that deal has always gone, no matter the country in question. So the rest, though, will be entirely built here and maintained here. Okay, so they do a technology transfer because they own everything. South Korean artillery in particular, the K9, is very popular around the world. It's used from literally Egypt to, I believe, Norway. A bunch of European countries do have it, as well as obviously now Poland. And it's been tested across the board in all sorts of climates and geographies. It's also operated by some tropical countries. I believe that the Australians might have just purchased some. I would like to say that they did, but don't hold me to that one right now. It's still a little early in the morning. So, what we're looking to do again is to get the 300 mobile artillery, the 200 tanks. We may potentially do 300 tanks. Now, that will depend a lot, frankly and honestly, on the Ukraine war. If the war is going to continue as it appears that it might, then what we would look at, instead of sending financial aid to Ukraine, because again, I'd like to stop all foreign aid spending. Now, to those who, like myself, frankly, who support Ukraine in the sense of their fight against the Russians, NATO's saving a lot of money there, by the way. Lives and money. Okay. On the Ukrainians' lives. So, beyond that, I would like to see our remaining Leopards head out, besides the most upgraded models, which would have to be scaled back for their upgrade packages, so we don't play our hand out on the open field, if you understand what I mean, and send them off to Ukraine and let them basically do their job out there. The Leopard's proven to be a very effective fighting machine. However, especially when it comes to drones and other sort of new age cheap systems, it's also proven to be extremely heavy and a somewhat, of an easy target once identified. So there's pros and cons. Obviously, drone technology is going to be a major part of the future. However, you can expect to see, no matter whether you're talking about the German Leopard, the French Leclerc, or the K2 Black Panther, you can expect to see upgrades to deal with drones in the coming future. That's going to be across the board. Obviously, the States is already making movements in that direction, having seen how badly their Abrams frankly got smoked in Ukraine. Now, mind you, those were older models. They weren't the most up-to-date, but they got absolutely backhanded, basically. They got smoked. No matter where the Abrams went, they were very inefficient in fuel. They run on jet fuel for their motor. Very loud, extremely heavy. Okay, so the mud really grabbed onto them in Eastern Europe, and that was a major problem. Okay, so with the K2, it's a little bit lighter. You guys can easily look up the information about these tanks and the artillery. They're really good. Okay, they're lighter but still heavily armed and armored. Again, the South Koreans have indigenous rounds. I don't know if I brought that up yet, and some of those are absolutely amazing, frankly. Some in particular basically allow the K2 to point its gun straight up and fire around that. Basically does a top attack on an enemy tank. Okay, some of these rounds are really, really interesting, and they have a lot of potential, and Canada could use them. Frankly, our tanks are old, and our tanks are small in number. So, if we could replace them with an additional full 100 new K2s, I would do that, but it will come down to cost. Okay, so it's obviously not going to be a cheap project right now. The tanks and the artillery is about $4 billion, give or take a bit. That's what it would cost. However, that's production here in Canada, and that's a serious thing. The only other area where I would say that the Reclamation Party has some interest in additional, two areas actually, for additional military procurement up front, is a new standard issue rifle. Okay, we are using our main primary weapon of choice is old. It's been upgraded and can hold a lot of potential and upgrades, but frankly, it's old. We need to design here and build here something new, something for us, or we need to hold a competition and pick something basically. And we need to move forward on that soon, in my opinion. The only other realm that I have some interest as party leader at the moment, although it's certainly not a commitment we're making in any way, is potentially some more aircraft. Now, we've purchased the F-35. The F-35A, I believe, is what we've purchased, the Air Force Edition. It's really good. Okay, it's a really great plane. I don't have any complaints, frankly. The only thing I would say is that in operating cost per hour, they're very expensive. Okay, they are a bit of a hangar princess, I guess is a term I would use, somewhat jokingly. It's not a delicate aircraft, but it's not a cheap aircraft to fly. Okay, I think personally, this is my opinion, that we should be looking at some cheaper aircraft to more or less bring up our numbers. I'm thinking another 50 to 100 aircraft of something a bit cheaper, but that doesn't mean I want to go and get rid of the F-35s. My whole point is to have the F-35 for when we need it, where we need it, and maximize the amount of flight hours to cost that we're going to get out of it. And some cheaper aircraft, an example again with the South Koreans is the Golden Eagle, which is similar to an F-16. I don't think that that's the route that I would say we should go, only due to the distances, okay, that plane can fly, which is quite short in comparison to some others. An interesting option, although not particularly an entirely cheap one, is to enter into conversations with Saab. So Saab is the Swedish arms manufacturer, and they have the Jazz 39, I believe it is. And basically, the E model is the new model, and it actually functions along with AI and other serious upgrades. It's classified as a 3rd gen, but frankly, it's approaching, in terms of its technology, although not stealth. Again, the F-35 is stealth. This aircraft is not stealth, but with 10 hard points and frankly a very solid record in terms of testing and exercises. It's never seen live combat. Okay, the Gripen, which is just Swedish for Griffin, basically. But it's a really good aircraft, frankly. We were offered them to be built domestically here when we were weighing up whether or not to buy the F-35 or something else. Now, again, they're not stealth. It is a very good aircraft, but I think that if there's still potential from Saab to have it manufactured here, we should consider it, because allegedly on a Super Cruise style of patrol setting, it can do a few thousand kilometers with the fuel it has on board. That's really huge, because we have an immense area to patrol on a regular basis, and this is why we aren't doing it, frankly. We need to build more airstrips to allow that patrol, especially areas like the Yukon. The other thing about the Gripen that's good is the Swedish built it with the intention of landing on short highways and taking off from short highways and so on throughout the country if need be. In terms of fighting a war with Russia, they know they can't win up front before joining NATO. That is now. So anyway, it can take off in I believe a strip of about 400 feet and land on a strip of only 500 or 600. Excuse me. That's extremely short. It's frankly nearly crazy. If it wasn't for the fact the F-35 can quite literally stop on a dime and land, it would certainly be a more impressive aircraft with that capability, because it allows you to basically land it anywhere that you have enough solid road or airstrip dependent. And for us here in Canada, that's a big deal. We could potentially secure procuring some of those aircraft and having them built here. Again, I think maybe 50 is a good number. Again, I'm spitballing here with my opinion on that. We are committed to the South Korean deal, no matter what. We need those tanks. Even if we keep the Leopards, we need 200 more tanks. That'll put us into the realm to be competitive with the European armies in terms of numbers. And that's also why I consider additional aircraft. The Saab Gripen is a good aircraft from everything I can tell about it, see about it, read about it. And although not stealth, there's some argument to be made in its usefulness. So, yeah, it's a good aircraft. I think there's a potential there as long as we're going to produce it here and get those jobs, which would be critical, as well as the maintenance. Besides that, again, the South Korean deal, we're looking for the 300 K9 Thunder Housers and 200 K2 Black Panther tanks. We will Canadianize those, so there will be some upgrades for sure, some changes, minor stuff. The other thing as well is obviously resupply vehicles for those Housers need to be built. So in reality, you're talking about probably, I'd like to say about 500-ish chassis, depending on the exact number it breaks down to. And again, that's years of work and then years of maintenance for Canadian facilities and jobs. So stay tuned on that one. It's certainly a commitment that we've made. I frankly wouldn't be surprised if some other parties jump on that in short order if they have any sense, frankly. Okay. Again, conservatives are talking common sense, nonsense, and the liberals just don't have any sense, frankly. And Mark Carney is certainly not someone who seems interested in military procurement, I'd add. So, in that regard, again, the Reclamation Party stands out because we believe in building up the military to a new height that it should be at. Another side thing quickly I'm going to add on is we actually got an offer to get in line for some submarines from Germany and Norway, and they're doing a combined project. It's really interesting. Diesel electric. Obviously, we've ruled out nuclear. I think it should be investigated, but I'm not going to get into that right now. So basically, they've given us the opportunity to enter this project if we decide to, and they will not push us to the back of the line. We will actually get, because they know we're in need, that our submarines they're garbage. So they're going to be willing to put us at nearly the front of the line, basically, for some of the first models to come out. Now that's the early 2030s, if things go as planned. We need to hop on to that project. That is a huge opportunity. A sub is better than no sub, and these are brand new. And brand new is not normally what we buy. Brand new is what we need. All right. So if you guys want to look into that, you can find it online. There was a couple articles written too. So take a look into that, and I hope you guys have a great day.